But I tell you what, before we get into this, how about a quick game of Hey Coach Tony's $99,000 answer? All right. First caller with the correct response to this question gets his or her choice of a Hey Coach Tony t-shirt or a coffee mug. Ready? Here it is. Of all the children in the United States participating in organized sports, what percentage of them will quit before age 14? Okay? How many kids in organized sports will quit before age 14? 855 Hey Coach is the studio line. First caller gets a mug or a T-shirt. Adam, I'm going to let you have a guess at this. I don't know don't answer just yet, but you got any thoughts for me?
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the question? I was talking to Josh.
Oh, Josh. Okay. Oh, by the way, let me just formally welcome Josh to the show. Josh Hanger, student from Indiana University. Josh, welcome to Hey Coach Tony. How are we doing this morning?
Josh doesn't have headphones, so we're trying to find him a pair.
I tell you what, we'll formally welcome Josh
after the next break.
Yeah, we will formally welcome Josh after the next break. But
great.
The question we're throwing out there for callers this morning is, of all the kids participating in youth sports, organized youth sports, what percentage of them are going to quit before age 14? And don't answer yet, because we want to give somebody an opportunity to get their mug or their T-shirt.
All right, sounds good.
All right. In the meantime, we'll give everybody a couple of minutes to call in and share their ideas. Or with all the time we're wasting trying to find Josh some headsets, perhaps some of you guys will just Google it and give me the answer. But in the meantime, later on in the show today, I'm really hoping to get into this whole debacle around P Diddy's son and his football scholarship to UCLA. Adam, you're familiar with this?
I am.
All right. Well, for those of you who didn't hear about it, get this. A young man named Justin Combs, and nobody seemed to piece this together with his last name. His last name is not Diddy. But in any event, this kid, Justin Combs, is the 18-year-old son of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. He is going to attend UCLA on a football scholarship. Now, that in and of itself doesn't really seem all that newsworthy, right? Well, turns out people this week went bonkers about this. And not just because UCLA is in a bit of a financial quandary recently, but also because there are a lot of people who think that it's unfair to give a scholarship to this kid because his father is wealthy. Sean Combs' estimated net worth, by the way, just shy of about $500 million. So he's not crying poverty by any stretch of the imagination. Question's going to be, should this matter? And is giving this kid a football scholarship fair or not? Well, like I said, later on the show, we're going to dig in on that. All right, back to the topic at hand here. Youth sports burnout. Adam, anybody taking a crack at this on the phones? If not, I'm going to get right into it.
No one yet.
Well, you know what it is? Here's what it is. I think I need to tone it down a little bit. You know, I got a couple of emails. I think people are actually afraid to call in because they think I'm going to shred them if they're wrong. Now, Adam, where on earth would they get the notion that I would shred them if they were wrong about a trivia question?
I don't know.
Maybe they just hear me.
Yeah.
They hear me battle you every time you get one wrong, I guess.
Yeah, that's probably it. They're a little scared of you, I guess.
Well, I tell you what. All right, I'll try to tone it down at some point. But let me go ahead and ask you, Adam. Of all the kids that are playing organized sports, what percentage of them do you think are going to quit? Or it's not a do you think? It's a fact. How many kids quit organized sports before they hit the age of 14?
All right, I got this. It is 80%.
80%. All right. Very thoughtful, very detailed thought process. I'm sure went into that. It is, unfortunately, Adam, the incorrect answer.
Well, is it more or less?
I'm not going to tell you because even though Josh is scrambling around in the dark, ask him real quick. What does he think it is?
What do you think?
What does he got?
Yeah, speaking of the mic, percentage of kids that before the age of 14, what was it? 14
before the age of 14 will quit organized sports.
Will quit organized sports.
I'd say about 60-70% maybe.
Wow. Chalk one up for the new intern.
Wow, all right. What is it? Is it 60 or 70?
It is basically 70%.
70%.
And that number is creeping down a little bit. So basically, you know, that's the reality of it, all right? So since there are no backbones in the state of Connecticut, nobody wants to call in, maybe we'll give Josh his coffee mug as a welcome to Hey Coach Tony president.
Yeah,
but
figure it out.
Yeah. Or maybe he just Googled it. But yeah, the fact is roughly 70% of all kids quit organized sports before they turn 14. 2/3. Now, there are a lot of reasons for it, but what I want to try to figure out is, why do you guys think this is happening? That's the real question here, and I want you guys, Adam, Josh, I want you guys thinking about it too, but hopefully we'll get some people to lend an ear and to lend a phone call at 855-HEY-COACH and help us sort out why kids are quitting sports at such a young age. Now, I did get, by the way, some emails during the week, and there were some pretty insightful things brought to my attention as far as reasons that a kid might quit sports. Again, if you want to add to it, it's 855-HEY-COACH. But a couple of things that jumped out of my inbox at me are as follows. One, the kid is no longer good at sports. That makes sense. Another one was the kid finds other interests in his or her life. Sure. Another one was, and well, this is one that kind of strikes a common thread through the show. The kids no longer like being yelled at by the coaches or the parents. We deal with that one every day. And the other one is the pressure to play their sport year round. Pretty interesting stuff, and I think we're kind of getting to the crux of this issue. What about you guys? You guys got any thoughts on why a kid would quit sports before he should?
Well, I played high school ball, and I always remember this one guy's father would always be at the games, and he was just like, had such a creepy presence there, So I'm like, you could tell that this guy was always watching his son, probably taking all these camps and stuff, working with him for countless hours. And I just think, parenting and these crazy parents probably just drive their kids to the point of no return.
Absolutely. What about, does Josh have an idea?
Let me ask.
I'm going to get this. I got to get this guy some headsets.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I mean, we'll get him his headsets in the next break.
We'll get him in the next break. I tell you what, I think there are a lot of different reasons, and I consider them more symptoms of the bigger problem. There are a lot of reasons, a lot of different reasons why a kid is going to quit sports. But you know what? It really comes down to one common thread across them all. And by the way, it's the same reason that a kid would quit anything else that they might do. And I kind of just gave it away. Think about it, Adam. Why would a kid stop doing any given activity? Forget about what the activity is. Why would a kid stop doing it?
Because they don't like it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, think about it. What drives kids at their very core? Now, I know you guys are young, but I have 3 children. What drives kids at their very core? Fun. It's really the only thing that drives a young kid. Fun. Right? When was the last time you saw a kid stop doing something that was fun? You ever watch a kid repeat the same exact activity over and over and over again 1,000 times? Ever wonder why they do that? Ever take it to the next level and actually ask a kid why? Well, as a parent, I have done that. Literally just like a week ago, I was dumbfounded. I was watching my daughter, Nikki, and she was laying on the floor. She would put a paper napkin over her face, and she would blow the napkin off of her face, catch it, put it back on her face, blow it off her face, catch it, and she just did this over and over and over again. And I'm trying to watch SportsCenter, and I finally just couldn't take it anymore. So I kind of said to her, Nikki, what the heck are you doing? You want to know what her response was? It's fun. That was it. There was no strategic advantage to blowing the napkin off her face. She was enjoying that process. She enjoyed blowing the napkin off her face and catching it and putting it back down. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. You want to know when she stopped? No, not when she passed out from hyperventilating. She stopped when it was no longer fun. And it is the same exact thing with kids burning out and quitting sports. When it is no longer fun, the child is going to want to stop, period. Somebody want to disagree with me? Tell you what, give us a call in the studio at 855-HEY-COACH. It's 855-439-2622. You know what? I tell you what, Adam, I want to take a little bit of an early break because I want a chance to get some people to call in and give me some ideas on this. And I got some more ideas I want to share about this youth sports burnout. So can we get to an earlier break?
Sure, why not?
All right. You're listening to Hey Coach Tony. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Coach Tony.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Hey Coach Tony. We air live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We are on 940 and 1510 ESPN Radio in New York and Connecticut. And you can always listen to us live online at ihide.com if you go to heycoachtony.ihide.com. I did get word that apparently this morning ihide.com is not working. And so I guess our national audience is going to be struggling a little bit. But hopefully they get the link. We'll try to send them directly to 940ESPNradio.com. All right. This morning we are talking about youth sports burnout. And by the way, did we get our young intern set up with his headset?
Yes, we did.
We did. All right. Excellent. So here, let me formally introduce you all to my intern, Josh Hanser, student at Indiana University. He hosts a humble little radio show there as well. Hey, Josh, welcome to the Hey Coach Tony team. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Tony. Thanks for having me.
It is absolutely my pleasure. Adam, showing you the ropes?
Yep.
You feeling it?
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Good, because the toilet in the lobby bathroom is clogged, and I can probably use another cup of coffee, so why don't you jump right on that?
All right.
All right, so listen, before the break, I was basically alluding to the fact that the reason there is such burnout in youth sports, this reason kids quit is the same reason kids quit anything or just stop doing anything that they do. It's just no longer fun. I hope you enjoyed my little anecdote about my daughter and you don't think that she has any psychological problems blowing a napkin off her face. But I'm still waiting for someone to try to disagree with me on this. But while we're waiting for that, let's just assume that I'm not completely off my rocker with this whole crackpot theory of it being fun. What do you think might be the next step? We just learned that kids are quitting sports because they're not having fun. If you're a parent or a coach and you want the kids to continue to play instead of quitting too early, what do? Well, take a guess and let us know at 855-HEY-COACH. But some people are going to say, and I've heard this plenty of times, make the kid stick with it, and the kid will just get through it as if it was just a phase. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think so. And I'm going to give you an example. You guys know I talk about my kids a lot because, well, A, I love them, and also because they're pretty good athletes. And quite frankly, they mess up enough that I can use them examples for my show. So this week, I guess I'm going to pick on my youngest daughter, Nikki. All right, aside from being quite adept at blowing a napkin off her face and catching it, you guys may know that she's been playing competitive soccer at a travel level for 3 years. And she's only 11. Now, I've raved, and if you listen to the show, you know that I have raved about how impressive her team is, how well run everything is, how well coached they are, and how much I enjoy them watching, et cetera, et cetera. Well, guess what she said to me just a few weeks ago? Care to guess, guys? What do you think Nikki said to me just a couple weeks ago? She started saying things like, "Daddy, I don't want to go to soccer today."
She doesn't like it anymore.
Yeah, I don't feel like going to soccer today. Now, granted, after each game, she'd enjoy the game, and I was starting to think that it was indeed just a phase that she was going through. I mean,
not the case.
You know what? Listen, what we did is, like an idiot, instead of going with my gut, I was following the advice of some of these people that were saying, make the kid stick with it. So we kept sending her. Because, again, after the games, she was okay. Well, we assumed she would just muddle through it. Besides, with the money that I spend on travel soccer for fees and uniforms and tournaments.
She better go.
Yeah, you better believe. You better believe she was going to soccer. Anyway, well, each week it was the same thing. When it was time to get ready for the game, she would complain. She wouldn't want to go. And it finally got to the point where it became clear that making her go really wasn't the answer. Now, if you listen to the show, it should be no surprise to you all that I am a very competitive guy. I believe that sports is just an amazing asset in the life and development of any kid.
And anyone who doesn't believe me, you should see Coach Tony as a baseball coach at Summer Trails Day Camp. You want to talk about intense?
Intense I am. Intense I am. But the fact is, the other thing is, I don't believe in quitting. All right? I don't believe in quitting. So, guys, with what you know about me, what did I do? Given the situation, what did I do?
Yeah, I'm sure you made her not go anymore.
Well, I didn't make her.
Did you give her the choice?
Well, here's what we did. Again, in all fairness, my daughter is 11 years old. So my wife and I sat down, discussed this ad nauseum, and we decided that instead of making her go to soccer, we would simply have her take a year off. It was a hard thing to do. Again, we had invested a lot of time, a lot of money in the development of her as a soccer player. Hard thing to do, but when we stepped back and looked at it objectively, it made all the sense in the world. Think about it for a second. She's going to take a year off of soccer. If she does so, really one of two things is going to happen. She's either going to realize how much she misses it and truly loves it, in which case she'll come back to it with a brand new passion and vigor, or the second option is she doesn't miss it at all, and soccer may be out of her life forever. Now, when I say it that way, it sounds a little bit dramatic, doesn't it? But think about it. If soccer really is out of her life forever, who cares? I mean, really, what's the big deal? I think this was the hardest part of all of this for me to get my arms around. And I think it may be similar for a lot of other parents. The notion, if you are labeled or inducted into the world of sports as a kid, the notion of them no longer being part of a sport, especially if they've been playing it for a few years and actually good at it, I think we as parents and coaches, I think we start to feel a little bit like failures. Well, you know what? Here's the advice. If you have a kid who quits a sport after giving it the old college try and you feel like a failure, don't. Let me explain. As long as you give your heart to something, you don't need to feel guilty if it doesn't work out. I mean, I hate to draw this analogy because I think my wife's listening this morning, but it's like a marriage. If you're going to do it, jump in with both feet. Give it everything you got. But at the end of the day, let's just face facts. Some marriages just don't work. And sticking with one of those, when you both know you need to just move on, does nothing more than cause more pain and suffering, and I mean for everybody involved. If the phone rings, it's going to be Mrs. Hey, Coach Tony. But really, like I said, when the day is done, if they give it their all, really, there is no reason for any guilt whatsoever. Actually, you know what? I'm going to check that. Let me check that. I sound like Sybil this morning. I keep going back on myself, but I don't want to get too far off the topic, but it's actually kind of timely. I want to see if I can get some love here. You got some love for Hey Coach Tony, please call the studio and just give me a pat on the back. But I want to ask you guys this, because I do need a sanity check. We went through this difficult decision of deciding to take a year off from soccer. Once we realized that's what we were doing, I emailed my daughter's coaches to let them know. In fact, I was going to paraphrase the email, but you know what? I found the email in my trash box last night, and I actually printed it out. So I'm actually going to read you the email I sent these guys verbatim. There are 3 coaches on the staff, and I sent it to them all. Here's the email. Hi, guys. I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to each of you for all the effort and guidance you've given to Nikki during the past few years. I'll cut to the chase and let you know that she's not going to participate in FC this coming year. FC is the name of our soccer club. We are simply at the point where she no longer loves it. And given the commitment level of FC, she really needs to love it if she's going to continue. We're going to take a year off, and she will either miss it desperately or she will decide that soccer is no longer a priority for her. When she started with you, she liked soccer. While it is still her 3rd sport, she grew to love it, and you 3 were a big part of that, and for that we are forever grateful. Each of you is very good at what you do, and I hope each of my kids get to play for a group of coaches like you guys. Hopefully our paths will cross again, and once again, thank you for all you've done for her. It is truly appreciated. Guys, what do you think of that email?
I mean, I think it was, very professional, you didn't lose your temper or anything.
There was no reason.
You're just telling them how it is.
There was no reason to lose the temper. I mean, it is what it is. The temper wasn't even an issue, but do you think that was a respectful email?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem with it. You're not saying, oh, you guys were bad coaches, that's why she doesn't want to play anymore. You just, you told it how it is, and, that's that.
Yeah, if I got to say it myself, I think it was a pretty good email. And I think it was a better than decent way to part ways, at least on the short term, with a group of coaches. You guys agree with that, correct?
Yep.
Definitely.
All right, great. Now, before we continue, let me explain that there are 3 coaches on the staff, one of whom just recently started coaching. One who's been there for a while, who's taking on a more significant role, and who also has 3 children in the program. And the third has been a mainstay in this program for many, many years. Coaches several teams, has no children of his own in this program anymore. Those are the three coaches that are involved in this. Let me ask you guys both, and by the way, you want to chime in, it's 855-HEY-COACH. If you were a coach of an 11-year-old girls soccer team and you got that email from me, each of you chime in on this, what would be your response?
I would say, thanks for the email. I appreciate you telling me all that. And, if she's ever interested in playing soccer again, let us know. We'd love to have her back on the team.
Gotcha. Josh, what do you think?
Obviously, as a coach, there's going to be a little bit of disappointment. You're going to be like, you're just going to be a little disappointed. But at the same time, there's nothing you can do. You got to respect the player's decision. You got to respect the parent's decision. And, if, that player wants to ever come back, you welcome her with open arms.
Great. All right. So, and by the way, with the responses that you just gave, how much time of your day would it have taken to do what you both just suggested you would have done?
I would say no more than 5 to 10 minutes to come up with that.
I think it took you 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So all you would have to do is type that out.
Yeah.
So I don't know maybe you're still a one-finger typer, but 10 minutes, dude? All right, anyway.
All right.
Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Adam. Not very long.
Not very long. All right. Well, tell you what, when we return from break, because we're going to go to another break, I'm going to walk you guys through the response that I got from each of the three coaches. You're not going to want to miss this. You're listening to Hey Coach Tony. Stick around. I'll be right back. Coach Tony. Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Hey Coach Tony on ESPN Radio on 940 and 1510 ESPNradio.com. Apparently, our stream is not working today, so we might as well kiss about 85% of our listening audience goodbye.
Tony, that intro's really something.
Which one?
Coach Tony.
You like that, huh? All right. Well, that was a long.
Is that you with a voice deepener thing,
dude,
or something?
You're in the Josh. You're in the radio business, dude. First of all, it's your first day, so slow down there, Pocahontas. Second, we don't give away trade secrets anyway. All right, listen. We're talking this morning about youth sports burnout. And the reality of the situation is this. I was just talking. Well, I kind of got off topic, but now I want to talk about this. My wife and I decided that we were going to just make our daughter take a year off because she no longer loves soccer. I took the liberty. By the way, on the on the Facebook, Mrs. Hey Coach Tony is asking me not to lose my temper when talking about this situation. Sweetheart, if you're listening, don't worry about it. I will not. I'm just stating some facts. I said before the break that I put together an email thanking the coaching staff, telling them how much I appreciate the effort they put into the development of our daughter, Nikki. Adam and Josh both agreed that with the email I sent, they gave me an idea of what the responses they were going to give. So listen, I'm going to walk you now through the responses that I got. And I want your thoughts. 855-HEY-COACH. Now remember, there are three coaches. One is a guy who's been there forever.
Oh man, I don't like where this is going.
No. It's not. It's sometimes
right.
sometimes I can be just a nice fluffy guy. Okay. So there's a guy who's been there forever. There's a guy who has 3 kids in the program who is kind of the up and comer, clearly establishing himself as a leader in this organization. And the last is a guy who just started coaching, has a daughter on the team, just started coaching. Well, let me give you the responses, and they're in no particular order. I want you guys to figure out which coach gave which response. The first response was an email. It was kind of what I expected. Said, hey, Tony, or hi, Tony. I'm very sorry to hear that Nikki is leaving the team. She's really become an excellent player, but more importantly, has been a real pleasure to coach. We'll miss her. Regards, and I'm not going to read the guy's name, but regards, Coach. Now, that is a simple and nice response. You guys agree?
Yep.
Definitely.
All right. The other response that I got was a return email simply stating, okay.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
All right? I don't need to reread my whole email, do I? And that's the response I get. Okay. Nothing more. You want to guess what anyone care to guess what the last response was from the coaching staff?
Something pretty angry?
Nope.
No.
Adam, you got to guess?
If not angry, wow, what else? How could he? I mean, what other way could you take that?
Criticizing?
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Yeah.
No, not criticizing.
I don't know.
Okay, you want to know what the response was?
Let's hear it.
Nothing.
All right.
Nothing. Not an acknowledgement. Not a, hey, I hope your kid gets hit by a bus. Not a, I love her to death. Nothing. Nothing at all. No best of luck. No sorry to see her go. No thanks for letting me spend 3 years with her. Nothing.
Should I have the right email address?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Right.
Pretty sure.
Just making sure.
All right, so now let's have a little fun with this.
All right.
Based on what I explained to you about the 3 coaches, and again, I'm not using names. This is just one of those things where I need some help here. I want someone to straighten me out. One of them just started coaching. One of them's been there forever. The other one is kind of the new, establishing himself as the alpha male inside the organization. Which coach gave which response?
Well, I think the new coach gave the longest response to you.
Why?
Well, it just kind of sounds like, he's a new guy. He's just trying to, I don't know, maybe get friendly with the parents. Just, seem like he has some kind of leadership.
All right, so what about the other 2?
What do you think, Adam?
Well, I
No, I want Josh's thoughts on who the other 2 responses are.
I think the okay came from the coach with not the longest tenured coach, but the coach that you said had the kids in the organization.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the no response came from, the older coach, because maybe he's seen this before and he just didn't want to give a response.
Okay. All right, Adam, what do you think?
All right, I would have gone with the older coach, went with the long response. The up-and-comer gave you the okay, and then the last one didn't even respond. That would have been my guess.
Adam, I got to tell you, you are a very, very thoughtful young man.
Oh, yeah?
Because you know what? That is exactly what I would have thought.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. Now, before you start patting yourself on the back, let me tell you that you couldn't be more wrong. Adam,
all right.
You couldn't be more wrong. Josh was actually close.
Okay.
The new coach is the one who just took the 30 seconds to say thanks. The longtime coach gave me okay, and the up and comer was just didn't bother to send a response. I have never I have never changed an opinion on coaches so quickly in my life. I didn't give them a fluffy email. The email I wrote was sincere. I think these guys had done an amazing job on and off the field with my own daughter and with this group of kids in general. But I got to tell you, after that, I got to tell you, I have never felt more like my kid was nothing more than a warm body. You spent 3 years with a kid, and that was it. All right. I clearly either the stream truly is not working or Connecticut doesn't care this morning. So if you can help me, give me a call at 855-HEY-COACH. And I'm sorry we took that little sidetrack. So I want to get back to the real issue at hand here. We're talking about why kids quit. We agreed that they quit because it's no longer fun. So let's talk about how we keep these kids engaged, at least for a little longer. Let's face it, not everybody plays sports, into college. Most kids don't. We know that. But the fact of the matter is, kids are quitting. If they're quitting because it's not fun anymore, then guess what? Short answer, make it fun. Just make it fun. If you're a coach or you're a parent, just make it fun. I know it sounds a lot easier than it is, but doesn't it make sense? We can go back to some of those specific things that people sent me, and we're going to use those as examples, and we'll see if we can chart a course for making sports fun again in each of those examples. You want to add something to this? Feel free to give me a call at 855-HEY-COACH. That's 855-439-2622. In a minute, I'm going to go through those specific examples. But you know what? I think we're going to start getting to some of your phone calls. In fact, I think on line 2 we got Doug calling in. So why don't we hit up Doug? Doug, you're on Hey Coach. Tony, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you, Coach?
I'm great. Hope I didn't either you got some chicken soup for my soul or I missed something. So what do you got for me?
Well, I'll tell you, I've got 2 daughters, 16 and 14, and they both have been playing soccer since they were 4 years old. Fortunately, I've been blessed with, they've always had very good coaches as well. I think your coaches really are missing the mark here because it's, it's a family. It's really, in any sport you play, because my daughters play multiple sports, it's a big family. And really, not only did they need to email you back, but they really shouldn't have even done that. They should have called you back. They should have talked to you and said, listen, we understand it happens, because I'm sure they've seen this happen, tons of times before. All kids get tired of things at times, and, but they need to leave that door open. They need to know, they need to let you know that, you know what, when she does decide, soccer's going to be in her life again, they need to welcome her back with open arms. And now you're not going to want that. You're feeling a little, you're not feeling the love, and that's just wrong. This girl's 11 years old, and something like this could sour her, for a long time.
Hey, Doug, you nailed it, because you know what? Not only, here's the thing, and you said what I did not say. You always want to think the door is open. And it's not like we said, hey, coach, guess what? We don't like your organization, so we're going to go play soccer somewhere else. I can understand some bitterness on that, and even then, as a coach, you got to take the higher road. But you said the door. You want to feel that the door is open. I feel like the door was slammed. This is no longer about what I want. This is about whether or not we feel welcomed. I mean, like I said, you're talking about an 11-year-old kid, and I feel like feeling the love, the family, all the things that you said. By the way, I believed and felt up until about a couple of days ago. And now I feel like, wow, did I rob my kid of 3 years of her life? Because I coach a very competitive team in baseball. I've coached many, many sports. I will tell you that when I show up to a game, my kids, and these are 14-year-old boys bordering on men, my kids come up and they give me a hug. There is love there. And I will tell you that there are kids who have left my team, and I'm still in touch with the parents. I still tell them, your son is no worse a ball player, no worse a kid. I'm not going to be, ain't too proud to beg. I want that kid back. Tell me what I did to fail so I can get that kid back. Matter of fact, one kid left my team to play for somebody else. And guess what? He came back. And that's one of my favorite kids. And that's one of my favorite dads. Kid doesn't even play for me anymore. He plays at an older level. And he sees me, gives me a hug. That's what it's about.
You sound like the kind of coach that every parent wants.
Careful what you say, Doug.
Know what? No, but you as a parent, with my girls, I want two things. I want a coach that is going to be honest with them, with their skill level. I want them to, be able to, talk to my daughters and tell them, this is how it needs to be. This is why you're here. This is why you're there. I want them, and I want also to know that when I'm not there, because I'm not there at every practice and every, I am at every game, but, there are practices. I want somebody that I can trust, that I know is going to have my child's best interest at heart all the time.
And again, Doug, and by the way, thank you so much for the call. But by the way, up until 4 days ago, I wouldn't have questioned any of this. That's what, my heart's broken. That's really the issue here. I feel so disappointed. I am let down. And by the way, I think in all fairness, you mentioned a phone call. I did get a phone call. You know who called me? The president of the Soccer Association called me personally. And she is obviously the right person for the job. She said, what happened? Did we do something wrong? Did we drop the ball? She was throwing herself on the tracks, and when I explained to her why we left, she gave me a 2-second answer and said, sounds like you're doing what's right for your kid. We hope she comes back. And that made me feel better about the thing in general. But, boy, I got to tell you, Doug, things like this make you question everything you believe in up until, here's what I'll leave you with on this topic, and then we're going to go to break. Never judge anybody. Forget about coaches, forget about parents, forget about players. Never judge anybody by the way they behave when things are going well. Judge somebody by how they behave and how they conduct themselves when they're faced with a little bit of adversity. Because I will tell you, this is the first time anything resembling some conflict was thrown into this equation, and these guys crapped the bed. Doug, I want to thank you again for the call. Listen, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about a little hip-hop nation. We're going to go into P Diddy. His son, if you didn't hear about this, received a full scholarship, or I should say a football scholarship, to UCLA, and people were up in arms saying that he did not deserve it because his father is rich. Now, hopefully, and also switching gears, Mrs. Hey Coach Tony can stop typing me. I didn't name names, baby, all right? It's all good. But by the way, my wife has an opinion on this one, so if she can just stop typing and maybe call in and tell us what she thinks about this, we'll be in good shape. But when we come back, we're going to hit this whole P Diddy thing. You're listening to Hey Coach Tony. Stick around.
Coach Tony.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Hey Coach Tony. Like I said, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. on 940 and 1510 ESPN Radio. Normally streaming live online at iHigh at heycoachtony.ihigh.com. So I think what's going to happen is 855 Hey Coach is going to light up during the week when the show hits YouTube. I feel bad. No calls from Chicago, no calls from Colorado, no calls from South Carolina today. And Connecticut apparently has no backbone except for Doug, who, by the way, has no idea what he was wishing for when he said, I'm the kind of guy who should be coaching his kids. Hey, if you still have some thoughts on youth sports burnout and didn't mind me stepping off track a little bit with my rant, you can still call in and give us your thoughts. But I want to move on to a story that kind of hit pretty big just yesterday. If you're not familiar with the story, a young man named Justin Combs, he is the 18-year-old son of Sean Combs, better known to many as P Diddy, decided that he is going to attend UCLA on a football scholarship. This is one of 285 athletic scholarships that UCLA hands out every year. Not very interesting, I got to tell you. As a story, not very interesting. But what made it interesting is that this comes at a time when student fees at UCLA are rising dramatically. And by the way, it's only about a year after UCLA had to use more than $2 million in student fees to cover a gap in the athletic department's funding. So something may smell fishy, something else may pop up there, but you know what? The reality of the situation is this. UCLA went on record basically defending their position and saying that the athletic scholarships are funded by ticket sales, corporate partnerships, media contracts, and private donations. Now, like I said earlier, a lot of people have kind of just made this a much bigger story than well, you know what? If it's a big story, it deserves to be a big story. A lot of people are complaining that, a football scholarship is going to be better served given to a player whose parents are not wealthy. Don't know. Again, Sean Combs worth about $500 million. What do you think? Is it fair? Is it fair that this kid who clearly can afford for his father to buy him matter of fact, the father bought him, I think, like a $500,000 car when he turned 16. Couldn't even pronounce the name of the car. Never heard of it before. It was like a $500,000 car. The guy can clearly afford to pay for school and grad school. And by the way, my kid's grad school. Josh, he can pay your tuition at Indiana. I mean, the fact of the matter is, a lot of people saying this kid doesn't deserve a scholarship. If you got something to say, give us a call at 855 Hey Coach. Hey Intern, you're in college. What do you think about this?
Well, I mean, I think you can look at both sides of it. I mean, yeah.
Wait. You're not going to last long in this show. You don't get to look at both sides.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, if the kid can play, you give him the scholarship because he can play based on his talent level. I mean, yeah, people are going to argue that, his dad's loaded. He could definitely cover it. But, I mean, if the kid can play, I don't think there's really a problem with that. He's getting the scholarship strictly because of his athletic ability, not because of his background.
All right. All right. I'm going to touch on that one in another minute when you say he's getting it strictly on his athletic background.
I'm going to put it like this. All right.
Okay. Enlighten us, Adam.
I mean, just think about how many, families out there, and this is not going to be sports related, but rich family, and they have a very smart kid, and let's say he gets the scholarship to Harvard. I mean, how is that any different than this,
Wow. Adam, I tell you what, if I step out of this studio and get hit by a bus, man, you're going to be like the next in the line of Lone Rangers. You're just going to take over. Because that was insightful. I don't know what did they put in your coffee this morning?
I don't know.
But that's actually a good point, and I think you guys are both on target with this one. Now, my wife, who I know is not going to call in because she's a chicken, she was saying last night, because I was up pretty late trying to piece some of this together and some of my thoughts, and she said, well, that makes sense. Why shouldn't he just have his dad pay for college and give the scholarship to somebody else? Now, that's a typical non-sports mommy thing to say. By the way, she's probably on speed dial now after I said that. But the point is this. Could he pay for college? Sure. But so what? Adam, you brought up a great point, but first I'm going to hit here's where I think the controversy might lie. I haven't heard the name Justin Combs a whole lot. You know what I mean? And I follow high school. You don't hear that name as one of the top prospects. So I was a little wary when I heard he got a scholarship to UCLA. Question for you. Where is UCLA located, Josh?
It's in Los Angeles.
That's why they call it UCLA. Very good. You're hard. Whatever your parents are paying for Indiana is certainly going to a good cause.
Thank you.
By the way, are there any other significant college football programs in or around L.A.?
Interesting. What is that one?
Huh. Oh, wait a minute. USC. And by the way,
you got to bribe the big name.
What didn't you just say? Athletic scholarship. He got it on his athletic.
Well, yeah,
only?
but
No.
Didn't you say that? Answer the question.
I was gonna say you could look at both sides, and you said you can't.
Don't tell me what you were gonna say. You said athletic scholarships are based on athletic prowess alone, and I may submit that maybe guys like Will Farrell and God knows who else who are seen on the sidelines at USC games. I'm wondering if maybe UCLA needs to perhaps throw a little celebrity cachet into their mix.
And let's be honest, the UCLA program has been crap for a while now, I'm pretty sure, right?
Crap, wow.
Yeah.
Thank God we're not streaming live.
Yeah.
LA would be, the people who are up at 6:45 in LA would be calling to shred you. But I got to tell you, I do question it. I'm not to the point where I'm calling shenanigans, but I'm telling you, it's something to think about. UCLA has struggled, and I tell you what, would they benefit by having some cachet in that program? You better believe it.
Well, it's going to look good now. You know, they got the number 1 recruit in college basketball now there. They got Shabazz Muhammad, and they also have, now they have P Diddy's son there. So their athletic program could be on the up and up.
I wouldn't say on the up and up. It could be on the upswing.
Could be on the upswing.
And I would be careful about calling any college program on the up and up. But I got to tell you, I don't know if this is true or not. I think we'll find out once this kid starts playing or doesn't play, or if he shows whether or not he's got his own salt, whether he can hack it at the D1 level. But the bottom line is this: we don't know why it happened. But let's face it. Also, unlike academic scholarships, athletic scholarships are not really subject to a whole lot of – it's not based on need. It's not based on grades. The fact of the matter is a coach can give football scholarships to pretty much whoever the heck he likes. Now, having said that, he's going to be accountable for that kid, whether or not he's going to be a contributing factor on the team. If Jay-Z's kid gets a scholarship next week and, Fitty gets his kid, and I don't mean to pick on the hip-hop community, let's just say Barry Manilow's grandson gets a scholarship next week and UCLA, sucks for the next 6 years, coaches are going to get fired. But I think it's an interesting dynamic. And I also want to get back to what Adam said earlier. Why do we pick on sports figures? Adam, you nailed it, dude, when you said, and it doesn't have to be Harvard, by the way.
Yeah.
There are very, very wealthy individuals who, throughout grammar school and high school, these kids are at boarding schools being fed, hand to mouth and getting credible grades, and they're all being weaned to be doctors or lawyers or hedge fund managers or whatever. And these guys are worth more than some of the professional athletes and hip-hop stars. Yeah, I tell you that's a fact. Why doesn't anybody complain that Donald B. Billingsworth III gets a scholarship to go to BC because his dad's a venture capitalist in Boston?
Because he's not an entertainer.
But that's my point. Who cares?
Exactly.
That's kind of what gets me. And Adam, that was a really, really good point. And
I try.
You try, dude. I'm telling you, man. You're getting good at this.
Tony,
you have a future in this.
Tony, if you want to look at the bright side, this is courtessy of Robin Lundberg, by the way, not me. But he
great.
said, P Diddy's son going to UCLA proves the East Coast West Coast battle is over.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, and Tupac's going to release another album 17 years after he's dead, making a tribute to UCLA football, right?
He's alive.
Unbelievable. But you know what? Be it as it may, and I was just going to do some gang hand signs for the YouTube. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stoop. But the fact of the matter is, listen, when somebody earns their scholarship, that's all that matters. I don't care, nor should anybody else care how much somebody. Here's a great piece of advice for everybody. Stop counting everybody else's money. Get your hands out of P. Diddy's pocket. Personally, I don't like Sean Combs. I don't like what he does. I don't like his attitude. But you know what? If I'm a UCLA fan and his son at cornerback is going to make a difference, if he is going to pick off a pass and run it back, and that's what gets UCLA to a significant BCS bowl bid, I don't care if you're mopping floors. I don't care if you are cutting records. I don't care if you're winning Grand Slam tennis events. The bottom line to this is just this. Scholarships are based on merit. And stop worrying about everybody else. If Sean Combs could afford college or not is just irrelevant. If the kid earns an athletic scholarship because of his physical attributes and skill sets, then you know what? He deserves the scholarship. He deserves the free tutoring. He deserves the meal plan. He deserves the grand opening welcome when he gets off that first bus ride to the school. He deserves everything that goes along with it.
Well, Tony, let me throw something else at you. Let's say, I don't know, Brett Favre's son gets a scholarship to a great college. Would people make an uproar over that? I mean, this guy's an athlete. You think, oh, the kid can play. Would people still make an uproar over that, or is it just because P. Diddy's a celebrity with a ton of money?
Well, guess what? Brett Favre is an athlete with a ton of money. And by the way, if Brett Favre's kid gets a scholarship, he'll make us sit through he'll make us sit and wait on his decision each of the 4 years that he's there.
But do you think that makes it a difference if it's the son of an athlete or if it's the son of a celebrity?
It doesn't make a difference. But I tell you, the idiots that are complaining about P. Diddy probably would think it makes a difference. I mean, listen, if it's Brett Favre's kid, you're expecting him to get a scholarship and to play quarterback. And again, so it's not about money. This is about, you know what? And I hate to use the street terms. It's about haters. Stop hating. Stop hating, because the fact of the matter is we're all jealous. Nobody thinks it's wrong. We're just jealous of Sean Combs and the money he's got. And it sucks more that we all got to pay for college and he doesn't. How's that to end a nice note? Hey, Josh, welcome to the team. Adam, great job today. Guys, sorry about the stream. Hit us up on YouTube. You know what? You guys enjoy the rest of this weekend. We'll catch you guys. We'll catch you all next week.